Happy Monday, all you minties. This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me as I get to talk about one of the best omnibus releases this year, Doctor Doom, the Book of Doom. I'm going to talk about why I think it's one of the best. So join me. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, I want to give a huge thank you to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us an advance copy of this omnibus. This omnibus is due out in the direct market and book market on August 16th or 17th, depending on where you get your books. And speaking of book market, direct market, this is the standard edition cover here. On the left-hand side is your direct market cover. And of course, as always, I like to point out the difference in the spines. From time to time, Marvel does that. They have a different spine design for the same book. So whether you get the direct market or standard edition, and I know sometimes people decide which version to get based on what the spine looks like. And everything else is identical on the inside. So let's go back to this. Here we have Doctor Doom, the Book of Doom. Love that title. Actually, really like that cover. The cover's by Greg Land. The Marvel logo up here at the top right. The spine again, let's take a closer look. Doctor Doom, the Book of Doom, Marvel Omnibus. This image right here from the Books of Doom. And 6 decades. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. 60 years. 6 decades of Doctor Doom are collected in here. The best stories, what the editors thought would be the best stories to add to the whole mythology of Doctor Doom. All of them collected in here from his first appearance to the near impossible to get Books of Doom. I'll talk a little bit about how that got in there. But before we do, let's take a look underneath the dust jacket with these wonderful images by Pablo Raimondi, again from the Books of Doom. Alright, we're going to crack this book open. We're going to talk about the importance of a lot of the stories in here and what makes this one of the better anthologies for a character like Doctor Doom. Alright, opening up the book with this green end paper. I think I remember that Loki also had the green end paper. Doctor Doom, the Book of Doom. And here are all the credits, including legends like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Wally Wood, Gene Colan, Bill Mantlo, Jerry Conway, Roy Thomas, Larry Lieber, Mark Waid, Ed Brubaker, just to name a few of the creators that helped out on this freaking book. Chris Claremont's in there, Uncle Raj, Jim Shooter, David Michelinie. Here's your table of contents. Kicking it off with his first appearance, Prisoners of Doctor Doom from Fantastic Four number 5. And the table of contents also adds the date that the book was released in. So, for example, July 1962 to the latest Book of Doom, or the last book collected in here, June 2006, Book of Doom, Book 6. Here's your introduction by Not the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio. That I'm sure that joke never got old to him. But he talks about what makes Doctor Doom such an interesting bad guy. And honestly, there was something that he talked about in there that I didn't know about. And that was the big discussion between Stan Lee and Jack Kirby as to what was underneath that mask. I thought that was really interesting. And I don't know if you guys knew the story. I'm sure most of you probably did. But apparently Stan Lee wanted to have him, horribly disfigured after the accident. So that's why he wears the masks. And Jack Kirby was on the thought that, hey, I think he should just have like a tiny scar on his chin. But he's such a perfectionist, he's such a complex character that he thinks he looks like a monstrosity. So let's just have him wear the mask. So there was discussion about that, and then of course it's Stan Lee, so he wanted out. Stan Lee usually got what he wanted. I don't know. Sometimes he did let the artists, the co-plotters, go with what they thought. But here we have Fantastic Four number 5. So this has time travel elements already in it with Doctor Doom. So this is a big book. This collects Fantastic Four 5 and 6, 39 and 40, 246 and 247, 258, 278 and 279, 350, 352. Amazing Spider-Man number 5. That's the first time he fought somebody outside of the Fantastic Four. Oh, and the very first team up right here in Fantastic Four number 6. You didn't see supervillains teaming up that much, but yeah, this is where he teamed up with Namor. So this does have that Spider-Man issue number 5, as well as Marvel Superheroes number 20, giant-sized supervillains team up 1 and 2. Supervillain Team Up 13 and 14. Champions number 16, because that was after the Supervillains Team Up was canceled. Bill Mantlo finished it in the Champions story. And then it also has the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 14, Dennis O'Neil with Frank Miller. Oh, that was such an awesome story that featured Doctor Strange. We'll look at it here in a second. Uncanny X-Men 145 to 147, Iron Man 149 to 150, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars 10 through 12. So it does have the important parts that Doom played in. The graphic novel Emperor Doom, which is awesome. We'll talk about that here in a second. Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that is my favorite Doctor Strange story. Also my favorite Doctor Doom story. But honestly, my top 5 favorite Doctor Doom stories are collected in here. This book is so freaking awesome. So it does have Triumph and Torment. It has Fantastic Four, the Mark Waid and Mike Wieringo series from 1998, 67 through 70. That's in my top 5. Doctor Doom, Books of Doom 1 through 6 are in here. And I have a story to share about that. And then material from Fantastic Four 236, 358. And also material from Fantastic Four Annual number 2, Astonishing Tales 1 through 3, 6 through 8, and Marvel Double Shot number 2. This is a thicker than a Snicker book. This book has 1,336 pages. It retails for $125. So we've seen a lot of Jack Kirby. We saw a little bit of Steve Ditko. It is interesting to see Steve Ditko draw Here, let's go back. Doctor Doom. But even Spider-Man couldn't defeat Doctor Doom. He has to have the help of the Fantastic Four. They kind of scare him off. And here's the annual, which changes just everything you think you know about this sort of one-dimensional character that appeared here that just had like a vengeance plot against Reed Richards. This is the origin of Doctor Doom from annual number 2. And this talks about his life as a child, the loss of his mother, the loss of his father, taking over Latveria, dabbling in the science, dabbling in the magic. The accident that cost him the face injury, why he's wearing a mask. So he has this intolerable hatred for Reed Richards because of that. So this was a game changer. This was putting almost like empathy to a supervillain, a complex supervillain. But that is a classic story right there. There's a lot of classic stories in here. The supervillain team-ups are a lot of fun. This is from the first giant-sized book, or Marvel Superheroes, number 20. This is by Larry Lieber. Larry Lieber actually draws some of the stuff in here, and Frank Giacola. Roy Thomas is also the writer on this. This is the alliance that he has with Diablo, and it brings his love back. This is a character that you're going to see come through here, and this is Valeria. It was a lost love that he had at a young age when there was still hope in him, but just classic stories that help you get to know this character. It is interesting to see some of the things that are collected in here. I'm not really sure why they didn't include things like Astonishing Tales 4 and 5, because it has 1 through 3 and 6 through 8. But because those books have hardly been collected. I don't think they've been collected in Marvel Masterworks format. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen more of the Marvel Supervillains books too. This is a great team up with Namor in his new costume. This is from the Supervillain team up books. And there are a lot of those in here. Some of them drawn by Big John Buscema. This is the classic cover to the direct market. This is drawn by John Byrne. But this is the story from the final issue where he teams up with Magneto and by Bill Mantlo and Bob Howell, supplying the artwork, and that carries over into the Champions issue number 16. This is the story with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, where Dormammu plays a big part. And it's got classic artwork by Frank Miller. Then we get to the X-Men story arcs in here, which featured art by Dave Cockrum. And it features Arcade and Murder World. The big classic issues. This is probably in my top. It's definitely top 10. I wouldn't say it's 6, but yeah, I love this story from issue 150. This is the big Doctor Doom War story arc where they travel back in time. It's a classic story. John Romita Jr. supplying the artwork. Here, let's go back to it. and it's David Michelinie that wrote it. I believe Bob Layton doing some of the inks in here too. And then we get to the classic stuff of John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four. And this is where they do a little bit of a retcon. And I like the idea of having a Doombot. So they created this idea of Doombots for pretty much every time you saw Doctor Doom in a comic and he acted out of character or he was just easily beaten, it was a Doombot. That's pretty much what the retcon was. So if you saw Doctor Doom get his butt kicked by, I don't know, Squirrel Girl, although that might be something that might have happened already. She did beat Galactus, and I think that's canon now. But you get the idea. And editors were like, yeah, we really didn't dig that Doombot. I mean, they were using it, and they still use it to this day. Here we have, I have to show top 10 favorite covers of all time right here from Secret Wars number 10. That is such a badass cover. Against the Beyonder to the death. Look at that. Man, Mike Zeck. Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah, Terry Austin, of course, doing the inks there, but John Beatty doing the inks on the inside. So it does have the last 3 issues of Secret Wars. I realize the importance of them, but I almost feel like you would have to read the whole Secret Wars. Hey, but the omnibus is being reprinted, so maybe you can get it that way. All right, Emperor Doom. And it's going to be hard to talk about this book without going into, not spoilers, but just going into each story. So I'm just going to pick a couple here. Emperor Doom is a story where he uses the Purple Man to kind of mind wipe the entire world into believing that he is the emperor of the world. And there's only one person that wakes up remembering what the world used to be like, and that is Wonder Man. Now, the cool thing about this story is that freaking ending that you're left wondering, did the Avengers really do the right thing, or what exactly happened here? So it's not just your typical good guy, bad guy story in here, but it's really a commentary on free will and freedom and what that means. And that is followed up by Triumph and Torment. And I've talked about this story before, but just in case, this is the story of Doctor Strange helping Doctor Doom go to hell to get the soul of Doctor Doom's mother, who is stuck in hell. He's trying to retrieve his mother's soul because Doctor Doom is a complex character that we talked about. He loves his mom. He doesn't think she deserved to have died. So this has Mephisto, has beautiful artwork by Mike Mignola, written by Roger Stern. Best Doctor Strange, best Doctor Doom story. Then we move over to issue 350. This is by Walter Simonson. This is a classic Doombot story arc in here as well. We have some short stories there from Arthur Adams. This one here is written by Christopher Priest. It's the double shot number 2 featuring Doctor Doom. Now, holy crap. It's always hard to pick like my favorite story, but this right here, the unthinkable story arc that is featured through the pages of Mark Waid's and Mike Wieringo's Fantastic Four. Some of the best Doctor Doom Fantastic Four stories. So Doctor Doom is trying to think of a way to go back to his magical side of things. Because he studied the dark arts. He studied magic. But he kind of put it aside to concentrate and focus on science. So holy crap, what he does at the end of this issue. So this one features Valeria. They are reunited. And pretty much, you know, he's offering her, or he's asking for a second chance. He's asking for them to get back together. And the twist at the end, you're definitely going to say to yourself, okay, yeah, Doctor Doom's an evil person. He's a monster. There is no redeeming quality to Doctor Doom. But there still is, and you hate yourself for thinking that. So it's a huge battle against the Fantastic Four. Doctor Doom has this new badass armor. I'm not going to even reveal the origin of the armor, but holy crap, it's so awesome. Artwork in here by Mike Wieringo. And it does have a cliffhanger ending, and I know that omnibus is out of print right now, the Mark Waid Ringo Fantastic Four omnibus. Maybe we can vote on it next year to get it reprinted, but man, this one's such a kick-ass story. Now we get a Fantastic Four special here by the late Dwayne McDuffie, who had a really good run, very short-lived run on Fantastic Four. The artwork here is by Casey Jones, who did the artwork for some of those Excalibur issues in the 90s. His art's a little bit different here, though. Maybe it's the color tones they're using. But then we get to this, the Books of Doom. Yep. Ed Brubaker, Pablo Raimondi, Mark Farmer supplying the inks, making Raimondi's art style look a little bit smoother, a little bit cleaner. So this story was not originally going to be in this omnibus, but when I saw the mapping had everything else in here. But I saw the mapping and I was like, this book is a perfect bookend to this omnibus. So I talked to David about that. I was like, is there any way to get it reprinted in there? Because the standard size hardcover goes for, like, at that time it was going for $250 for a standard size hardcover of this. And he was like, let's add it on there. And not only did they add it in here, but they also changed the name of the omnibus. I think it was just Dr. Doom Villain Team Up Omnibus or something like that, to the Book of Doom. So for the people that didn't want this in here, I'm sorry. But for the rest of you all that were having a hard time finding this book, the Books of Doom, that is, and think that that's worth the price of admission for this alone, yeah, we did it. We make things like that happen. It's so cool. So, Books of Doom is in here, and this is by Ed Brubaker, Eisner Award-winning Ed Brubaker, and it is kind of a documentary, but told from the perspective of Dr. Doom, of his entire life. Now, I've used the word retcon, sometimes in a negative way, sometimes in a positive way. Sometimes negative as in, like, there was another X-Men team before Giant Size 1. Yeah, okay. That was Ed Brubaker as well. This, it works, because Ed Brubaker respects the history and the complexity of Dr. Doom. And he adds to everything, the depth of the character, the mythological side of things. Oh, I thought this was such an excellent retelling of his origin. This just features Dr. Doom, so it's like, you'll see Reed Richards in here. You're not going to see a big fight against superheroes, the Avengers, or the X-Men, or the Fantastic Four. It is the story of Dr. Doom and his coming of age, the loss of his parents, his first love, how he became a man of science, how he got that grant to go to the New York University, and of course we talk about the accident. This is also one of the few places, I get asked this a lot. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe it's out of curiosity. People have asked me on my channel before, like, hey, where's a place where you could see Dr. Doom's face? Like, you actually see him take his helmet off. And because it is a big deal, because you always see him in the shadows. But if you want a really detailed look as to his face, then it's the Books of Doom. The panel that I'm talking about, I'm not going to show it, of course, is forever embedded in my head. And that's one that I'm like, okay, yeah, Stan Lee definitely should have won that battle if Jack Kirby wanted to do with the scar on the chin. That's man. But that's all I will say about it. I've tried to talk about this book without going into spoilers, but I don't think I've revealed that much. I think most people probably know the character of Dr. Doom. This is the handbook right back here. So you have a poster right here from Jack Kirby. This is Froome number 4. And then here's the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, Deluxe edition with artwork by John Byrne, written by, of course, Mark Grunwald. Talking about his costume, breaking down his costume. Oh, this Mike Mignola pieces right here. Even this one right here, the parody, A Year in Review. Ron Friend's art right there. Designs for Dr. Doom before he gets his armor. The Villainy of Dr. Doom trade paperback. This collects, I used to have this one. And they actually reprinted the introduction here by Tom Brevoort. And here's the Marvel Masterworks cover right there that they recolored for the trade paperbacks, the king size stuff. Pretty much if it featured Doom, even if it's a reprint, they put it all the way in the back. That is a badass. That's Julie Bell. Yep. Julie Bell. The different printings of Triumph and Torment and Emperor. No, maybe this is the graphic novel printing. The third printing, sorry. And then the director's cut of Fantastic Four 500. Now, as far as the binding, like I said, it is a big book. 1,336 pages. But damn, that is a big eye. Now, this book was printed at the iMac printer, but I'm going to say something. I think whenever I say iMac printer, when I talk about the paper, sometimes people are like, oh, it's got that really thin paper. It's not like the paper that I've seen in like the reprint of JMS's Spider-Man. This is actually thicker than that. I'm not saying like Donnelly printer thick, but it is thicker than that. I mean, you still have some art, like this is white right here, some of the art coming through from the opposite side, but it is thicker than that, what I'm seeing from the iMac printer in the last few months. But this to me is a great collection. This really stands out above like the Phoenix or even Loki, because those focus mainly on just, you know, the earlier appearances of the characters, the Dark Phoenix one and the Loki one. This one kind of goes through, from 1962 all the way to 2006. So it jumps all over the place, and it does it in chronological order, but it also does it in an order that you're not going to be lost. Yes, you're going to read the ending of Secret Wars in here, but it's going to make you want to go and read the rest of the series. You're going to be jumping into the middle of John Byrne's era of Fantastic Four. And I will say the supervillain team-ups, though, they do read really well. They continue from the previous issues, and the missing issues really, I don't know what they could have added. I've never read them, so I don't know what they could have added. I'm just surprised they weren't added in here. But I had a lot of fun with this one, reliving a lot of these stories, and just getting to know Dr. Doom, having a little more sympathy for him, and respecting the fact that he is one of the greatest comic book, not Marvel, not Fantastic Four, comic book villains that has ever seen print. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you live in Europe and are interested in buying and pre-ordering Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC books within the EU, flat shipping rates of €11.90 for all EU countries, great customer service with sturdy packaging and emails answered within 24 hours. They also offer a superb selection of new titles and out-of-print books. Just head over to waltscomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. For a limited time, you can use the code nearmintcon, all one word, at checkout and get a €10 voucher for your first order over €40. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ting!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this omnibus. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking this up, if you are vaguely familiar with Dr. Doom and want to know more about him, if you're a completist and you have to have the Fantastic Four in chronological order, whether it's epics or whether it's omnibus editions, so you're passing up on this one, just let me know all those comments down below. If you have any more questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We are on Spreadshop and Patreon, amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.